Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Heavyweights Podcast. In one corner, standing at 6'3", 290 pounds of solid chicken wings, Dustin Urban. And this corner at 6'7", 280 pounds, the one, the only, Big Daddy Nick Cline.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Heavyweights Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick Cline, and joining me always is big man Dustin Urban. We wanted to do this episode like every episode we've done for the last 10 episodes, 11 episodes. Can't think of it off the top. This is 11. Tuesday nights, but with the coronavirus and everything, we were trying to figure out how to record. We've got Urban over the phone, actually, so we've been messing with that all week. We're trying to figure out how to just stay safe like everybody else is. Another thing, though, too, is we didn't have enough time to get everything ready, so we just kind of came out with this late episode. This isn't going to be as long as normal, so most of you will probably be relieved. This isn't going to be an hour and a half long. We did our mock drafts last week. We have no XFL to cover. We have no major news, mostly outside of NFL free agency. It's the only sport that seems to keep chugging along, thankfully for us.
Thank God.
But we do have the coronavirus update. I mean, there's been some news on it. As of right now, the NFL draft's not going to be postponed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy for that. I mean, that is one thing I think out of all the stuff that's going on in the sports world, save that. You don't have to have anybody close. You can do it remotely. You can go back to when you saw it going on the 80s and 90s. Each team has there's enough internet and everything to bring it in, have cameras in a hotel lobby or something where they can keep the space and everything. Everybody can stay communicated so we can see it.
Yeah, I like it. There's no reason to hold off for the draft unless you just want that big spectacle. I mean, there's no real big reason to me. It's time to go. Act like it gives it something to move forward, and hopefully the NFL season starts regularly. Hopefully this doesn't spill into the fall.
I think, at worst now, you're not going to see rookie mini camps. Those are done. They're going to have to push them back because those are right after the draft. That's the first weekend in May. Training camp, which means OTAs are done. A lot of stuff will go into that. Team facilities are shut down as of right now. We don't know when they're going to open back up. So that's going to play a factor into, obviously, the draft because you can't just go into your own war room.
Right.
But the coolest thing that I've seen lately, though, is you see a lot of these players, DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, countless player after countless player donating money to their hometown. Drew Brees was kind of the coolest. I think he $5 million to the state of Louisiana for coronavirus. Families that have been severely affected. I know it's hit my house personally. My fiance has lost her job temporarily for a month. So it's hitting everybody in different ways. And it's just kind of unreal how we're spiraling out of control with this. Robert Kraft actually flew out this morning, his personal plane, to go buy, I think it was $3 million worth of masks.
Yeah, I seen that.
That was amazing. So just seeing
kudos to him.
Yeah, the NFL community coming together again in times of need. I know they've done it for earthquakes. J.J. Watt did it for the Houston floods, which was absolutely phenomenal.
He was big there.
You see it time and time again. I saw also Peyton Manning and his wife Ashley have donated meal after meal after meal to the Peyton Manning Children's Hospital here in Indianapolis, so that's really cool.
Right.
That's my biggest thing, take away from it. It's really cool to see all these players, owners, be at any level. I mean, you can even go into NBA donating money to the people that are affected that have lost their jobs for the rest of the season, serving, in an NBA arena, serving concession stands and stuff.
Yeah, it really sucks for those kind of people, and everybody that's out of work, but hey, we got to just stick together and move on, and hopefully the world gets back to normal here in the next couple months.
Right. The one biggest concern I have right now, though, is as of yesterday, the PGA Open, one of the four majors in golf, was canceled already.
Yeah.
That is in Scotland. No, next year it's in Scotland. This year it's in England, and that's in July. That's already been canceled.
Yeah.
That concerns me because that is pushing right up against training camp.
Yeah, they just might be doing that because, ticket sales, they don't want to rush getting everything.
I read a little bit of it. I didn't read all of it, I'm not going to lie, but it had something to do also with the venue costs and everything, the rental of going there.
There's a lot of factors into it, I'm sure.
Because they've already postponed the Masters. They'll decide the U.S. Open by mid-April, so within 2 weeks we'll hear about that.
Yeah.
But Wimbledon was also canceled for the first time since World War II. The Indy 500, which is the biggest...
Postponed
Postponed until August 24th. That is the biggest spectacle in the world for sports. It's is the single day.
Everybody loves to get drunk at the end of 500.
That's mostly just you and like.
Nah, that's I know. Every person from Indiana.
All right. Go ahead, man.
This week we're going to start off with the only thing we have to talk about. We're going to do the biggest winners and the biggest losers from free agency. We're going to start out with the biggest losers. We both picked 3 teams for each category, and I'll let Nick kick it off here.
I'm going to start off with the Dolphins. They were the biggest losers for me. I know they spent a lot of money. They had the most money to spend. I think it was around $87 million. They overpaid for premium positions for non-premium players, in my opinion. Like the first, it started with Eric Flowers, who I think is garbage. He had a bounce-back year playing guard for the Redskins, former top 10 pick for the Giants. New battle back. He is not good. You're hoping
that was the worst move they made, for sure.
3 years, $30 million, and you're hoping that he is an average starter at best, is what he was last year. He had his moments later in the season, but he is not a premium player at that position.
And that was probably the best football he played was last year.
That's not even up for debate.
No, I'm saying
he's played. And he only had 11 holding calls last year, I think it was, and that was his personal best. Like, you've got problems there, man.
I had one in my entire life.
And then it started to trickle in from there. You went from Flowers to, I love Byron Jones. I think he is a top-notch corner in this league. Is he top 5? To me, no.
No.
But you just paid him for 5 years, 82. He is the highest paid corner in the league.
The thing is, though, like I was arguing with you the other day about the Hooper going to the Browns, it's the market. And the thing is, with the Dolphins, they're such a bad team, they had to overpay for a Byron Jones to get him to want to come to the Dolphins.
Well, that's just the market for corners. It is a premium position. But you also had available in trade. I would have rather seen Darius Slay down there. He's a better corner.
They had the picks to move on.
And at this point, I know Chris Harris is a little older, but he is more proven and can do a lot more for you in a short term. Then they turn around and they give another former first-round pick out of Clemson, Shaq Lawson. They give him 3 years, I think $32 million. He's never had more than 6.5 sacks in his first 5 years.
Yeah, he's been a letdown. He can't stay healthy either.
No, I think he played 9 games this past year, or started 9 games, one of the 2. But he isn't that elite edge rusher that you want. You're trying to plug this all in for your defense. You want to get that the defense into at least a serviceable point, because they're gonna load up on offense, I think, in this draft. They're going to get Tua probably, and then they're going to start getting their best players available. But don't be surprised if those next 2 picks in the first round for them are wide receiver and lineman, wide receiver and running back. One of those 3.
Some combination.
Yeah, or you go receiver in the second round. The biggest head scratcher for me, though, I know yours was Eric Flowers. They turn around and they give Kyle Van Noy, who's been great in New England. He only had 51 tackles this season, but he's a locker room presence, everything. He's 31. They gave him 5 years, $51 million. I think 38 of it's guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a bold move for sure.
Yeah, I don't like that. He's going to be 36 as a plug and play linebacker at that age. I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 more years at elite level. And his elite, though, still isn't even top 5 at his position.
Right,
also,
I wouldn't even put him in. Yeah,
it's another thing of
top 5.
Just like Matt Patricia in Detroit and other Patriots legend or coaching tree members leaving and pulling in those Patriots players.
Yeah,
Belichick can do it. No one else has been able to do it. Not a single person.
They're trying to recreate the culture around there, and they aren't. I mean, they're not Bill Belichick.
Yeah, Mangini, O'Brien, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Cornell.
The list goes on.
On and on. They can't do it. You see that time and time again. And for me, they've spent too much on average, or a little bit above average to average talent.
Yeah.
No elite there. None of those players, I'm going to look at their roster and say that's the best player on the team this year.
Right.
Maybe Byron Jones, but Devontae Parker had a breakout season finally. I've been waiting for that to happen for 30 years.
He's good, man. I don't know. I don't think they're the biggest losers.
Who do you got?
I went with the Jets. They're my number 1 biggest loser. They admit, all I heard all going into the whole fucking free agency was the Jets are going all in. They're going to sign these big free agents. They missed out on all the big free agents.
I mean, they tried.
I don't know. I'm not saying
I know.
But they missed out.
And that's got to say something, though, about Adam Gase.
And the culture there and everything.
Yeah. I know they went after Conklin. They went after Jadeveon Clowney. They're back in the market again, according to Dave.
Well, they should be. They still have a shitload of cap space.
I don't know why. I get why Conklin went to the Browns, but I know where you're going with this, so go ahead.
And, I mean, they let go of Robbie Anderson, but they brought in Bashard Perriman.
I don't mind that. I think Perriman has a better year than Robbie Anderson.
See, I don't think he is much better than Robbie Anderson.
I said he had a better year.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you said he's better. I think the jury's still out on Robbie Anderson. He could still have a great year wherever he ended up with. I forget who he signed with. But anyways, the Jets, they just still have major holes on both sides of the ball, and they didn't. I'll give them that Connor McGovern. He was a good, decent signing for their offensive line.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, they still got a lot of holes, man. And the way some free agencies went and the way the draft picks are laying, they're going to be in the market to take a wide receiver. Probably one of those top 2 wide receivers is probably going to be sitting there. And you're not either that, or you're going to have to go maybe reach on one of the tackles that you wouldn't have had up there. So
I think that's out of effect because they played Fant, the backup tackle from Seattle, left tackle money. I think he got $36 million around there, 3 or 4 years. He is more of a tight end tackle, 6th down lineman hybrid. You're expecting a lot there. What did they sign? I think 5 or 6 offensive linemen. I mean, that was a big weakness for them. You got to protect Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
You got to get holes for Le'Veon Bell. And so in their mind, Gase's mind, I would assume, they're trying to fix that now, spend money in free agency, which usually never works. That's why we see this list every year. Usually on biggest winners, you always see Cleveland up there. Then the season starts. That's gone.
Right.
But now they're taking up that need to not reach for a Jedrick Wills, Josh Jones, Andrew Thomas there in that first round, and they're going to be able to get Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb or Henry Ruggs, whoever they think.
I'm just saying.
I get the theory. It's just, to me, the offensive linemen they signed are not it.
Yeah, they don't fill those holes. That's what I was getting at.
No, and I completely agree. I'm not arguing with you on that. I completely agree.
At number 2 for me, though, the second biggest loser I went with the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
They let Jamie Collins walk, which he got money from Detroit, so can't blame him.
Got too much money from Detroit.
They lost Kyle Van Noy, but he got overpaid by the Dolphins, so you can't do. But I'm just saying they let him out the door.
Yeah, I get that.
And then Tom Brady's gone. And I mean, say what you want, he had a down year last year, but he has kept this team afloat forever.
Yeah.
When they don't have their best defenses, he's been the rock. And I mean, he's the best quarterback that's ever fucking played, or at least the best, most winningest. But the one thing I can say about the Patriots, they did get rid of Danny Shelton and they got rid of Philip Dorsett. So kudos to them for that.
Yeah, Dorsett's in Seattle on a 1-year flyer.
Good luck with those stone hands.
It's the Patriots. I wanted to put them on this list. I know a lot of people have. I'm going to wait until the season starts because it's still Bill Belichick. And
I'm just going off of what happened in free agency, you know what I mean?
But my thing is now you're left with Jared Stidham is going to be your starter. He looked great in the preseason. I mean,
That's fine.
But it's the preseason.
But the one game he played, Jamal Adams pick-sixed him when the Patriots were up by a bunch. Jamal Adams pick-sixed him to the house, and Tom Brady had to come back in the game. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you can just solely grade him on that.
No, but we have seen in spots Belichick win with backups. Garoppolo, Brissett, Castle back in 2008. I don't know where they're going to go with the draft. You're going to have to get a quarterback now at some point.
They cut Cody Kessler, too, by the way, so he won't be in the mix. Well, he sucks, though.
They brought back...
they got Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, they brought back Hoyer on $9 million. So
we'll see what
he knows the system. That's a great backup to have. He knows the game. So that was your number 2. I didn't go with a team for number 2. I was so infatuated with the dumbness of this move that I couldn't even say the team name. I'm just going with the GM/coach, Bill O'Brien, the Texans. You ship off Stephon Diggs. We talked about it last. A first-round pick. The Bills shipped off for Stephon Diggs. Cool. That's great. DeAndre Hopkins is not even close.
He's a big jump above Diggs.
Yeah. Hopkins, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. I think we've considered them the 3 best receivers the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Fitzgerald stayed great, but he's past his prime. You trade off Hopkins and get in return a second-round pick and a banged-up David Johnson that hasn't played a full season in 3 years.
And really has only had one great year.
His rookie year with Bruce Arians in that system where he caught the ball more out of the backfield. I thought that would have been perfect fit for Johnson with Cliff Kingsbury, but they went a different direction. You could have brought back your running backs that the Texans had last year, and for some reason, my mind is drawing a blank. Carlos Hyde
and fucking Duke Johnson.
Yeah, and Duke Johnson.
I think they still have Duke.
Yeah, but Hyde's a free agent as far as I can remember.
Yeah, he is.
We pulled those stats up. I did the would you rather on that.
Right.
Better season than David Johnson.
Yeah.
And then to replace that, the missing hole of DeAndre Hopkins, you're expecting Will Fuller to play a full season. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you bring in Randall fucking Cobb, who I was surprised. Dude's 27.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I swear to God. 27 or 28.
Wow.
Blew my mind because you think of the Randall Cobb Aaron Rodgers connection,
right?
But he is still a decent slot, and then but he's not great. Like, he had a decent year because Dallas threw the ball all over the place. The biggest thing now is you've got that, and you got Kenny Stills. You took away Deshaun Watson's best target by far, 29.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's still
below 30. Still has a few.
I would have thought over 30.
You were thinking ahead. Yeah.
Just mind blowing. O'Brien, they've traded away their first round picks. They've traded away everything to get this team better. You've got a better offensive line, but now you're just taking away weapons for your elite quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't like anything they did.
I mean, he's still the best quarterback in the AFC South, so the Texans still have a chance to win, but O'Brien, if they don't win the South this year convincingly and at least get to the AFC Championship, to me, you've got to let him go.
He's got to be fired. I don't think anybody would argue that, especially Texans fans.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I could go on.
Who'd you go with number 3?
Number 3, okay. I went back and forth. I had the Jets here. I was going to lean towards them. I thought about the Lions overpaying. I considered the Rams for not doing much and then turn around and paying too much money for a couple people. But I ended up going with the Chicago Bears, who also, like the Jets, had major needs along that offensive line. You signed Jermaine Ifedi, former first-round pick, not a good tackle. You can slide him into guard. He's going to be an upgrade immediately for you there because Long retired. But you didn't do anything else there. Then you trade for Nick Foles. I'm fine with that 4th-round pick. What pisses me off is that less than, I think, 48 hours later, Cam Newton becomes a free agent.
Right, and they could have traded for Cam.
Yeah. Why not go for that move? And then you turn around, and then your defense is your strength. We know that with Chicago. It has been for 20, 30 years. You overpay Robert Quinn, in my opinion, $70 million.
100%.
He's good, but not $70 million.
You overpaid him.
I mean, that defensive line is ridiculously good now, though. I'll give him that.
Right.
You signed the former first-round pick, Artie Burns, the corner from Pittsburgh.
Been a bust so far.
Been a bust, 1-year flyer. But then you try to get some help for, it's going to be Nick Foles. No, Trubisky's not going to last the whole season. Trubisky might start the first couple games, but he's going to get yanked.
I don't know. I don't feel like you could trade for Foles and then start Trubisky like that.
I think you can.
The money you're paying Foles, though.
He renegotiated his contract today. They took away a lot of that salary. Okay. And that literally doesn't matter. They've got the cap space.
I don't care.
But to give them, they wanted to give him a red zone target because they haven't had the tight end they signed, the back.
Burton.
Trey Burton, not been at, the Super Bowl run yet, but that was the Eagles' style of offense.
Right.
You bring in Jimmy Graham, who can't block.
Good red zone threat, though. I'll give him that. But
no, not last year. You had one of the best quarterbacks of all time throwing you the ball, and you couldn't do shit.
He dropped like 3 or 4 touchdowns last year. But I'm just saying he is a good red zone threat. He can go up and get it. I don't
see it anymore, man. This isn't Jimmy Graham in New Orleans.
Right.
This isn't Jimmy Graham 3 years ago. He had one good season with Seattle.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to...
Yeah. You just overpaid for that, and you didn't address many holes. I would have liked them to go after Robbie Anderson over Jimmy Graham.
Is he an upgrade over Trey Burton, though? Yes.
But how much?
I'm just saying. I don't agree. I think Bears were my 3rd team as well.
Oh, were they?
So,
okay,
yeah. All right. I was getting ready to say that. I said what I had down was they overpaid for Jimmy Graham and Robert Quinn. And so far, they haven't really addressed too much of their offensive line. They got Jermaine Ifedi, whatever. And then you trade for Nick Foles. So if Nick Foles is going to be in there, he's a fucking statue. And
he can move in the pocket a little bit.
Yeah, he can move in the pocket all he wants, but if he's got
he's not as mobile as Trubisky.
That's what I'm saying. If he's got to run for his life, he's going to die. And he's already proved that he's fragile from last year. I mean, that was a freak accident, but he is tough as nails. I'll give him that. He fucking, whatever injury he had, he threw a touchdown on it. Like, that was, but I don't know. I don't like the direction the Bears are going in either.
I mean, Nagy's supposed to be some offensive guru, and they're still loading up on defense, and they're not addressing their major hole, which is that entire offense.
Right. Line.
Outside of running back, you need people everywhere. 1 out of 11 players that is a good, no, they got 2 good running backs, but I don't know what they're going to go from here because it's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, they got 2 second-round picks. They have a second round and a third round, and they better go offensive line.
Yeah, but I don't know where that depth's going to be there. Austin Jackson out of USC is probably the best second-round option, but he's probably going to go early.
Right, yeah. They might have to reach, and that is what it is. They made the bed, they had to lay in it.
That's fine. Let's get to some better news.
Yeah, let's get to the winners. You want to start off, or you want me to?
Go for it.
All right, with my number 1 winner of free agency, I went with the Raiders.
All right.
I liked the Corey Littleton signing, Marcus Mariota signing, bringing him in as a backup to compete. Maybe keep Derek Carr trying to
trending forward like he did the last 5 or 6 games of last year.
Get somebody behind him that he's like, fuck, this dude isn't the worst thing in the world. I don't got Nathan Peterman behind me anymore throwing 5 picks and a half. So I need to be on my game if I'm going to be outplaying Marcus Mariota. I didn't mind their corners haven't been good, so I didn't mind the Eli Apple signing. He had a good comeback from his start in New York when he went to the Saints the past few years.
Mayock was obsessed with him when he was still
he's really became a better player. I'm on the fence a little bit. I mean, I think everybody knows that Nelson Aguilar is a drop machine.
Yeah.
But if they can get him to catch the ball, he's a fast motherfucker, so they need him to fly.
I like your draft analysis, or player analysis.
And you get I'm still also on the fence with Jason Witten. Like, he's a good locker room presence. He's a good red zone target, but I mean, I don't know. He's just Jason Witten. Like, he's not gonna turn the scale in either favor too much. And then the one dislike I had for them was they signed Jeff Heath, and I've been over that. So,
I mean, a backup spot there, or just to be an upgrade over Carl Joseph, who wasn't worth that first round talent.
Jeff Heath's a upgrade over Carl Joseph.
I'm not. That's how. No, we're not. We won't go there.
All right.
Well, was it Calais? Or the other linebacker they signed, I really like too. Nick.
I forget.
It's not Calathus. That sounds.
No.
It starts with a K, and it's really hard to pronounce.
And didn't they sign Carl Nassib as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
He's not bad either, but that's who I went with my number 1 Raiders.
Okay. I mean, my number 1 trickles in from my number 2 overall disappointments or losers. O'Brien shipping off Hopkins. Kyler Murray, baby. Like, he's got to be happier than almost any other quarterback.
That's who he picked.
Yeah, but I wrote down Kyler Murray. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. Fitzy decided to come back for another year. And then they also improved their defense, so that's, I guess, where the Cardinals come in. I mean, they got Devondre Campbell, who I loved, who played for Atlanta last year.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Got Devon Kennard, the linebacker from Detroit. Not bad. Just upgrade over whatever they had there. And then Jordan Phillips, the 27-year-old from Buffalo, the D-tackle, that had 9.5 sacks.
Yeah.
They improved their front 7 there.
That's what they needed.
They've still got Patrick Peterson. Maybe they can get some more stops and put that ball more in Murray's hands, because he is a special, special talent, and he can take a major leap forward next year, because Fitzgerald's 12 straight years of leading, 12 or 13, it might even be more than that.
It's coming to an end.
It's done this year. It's going to be Hopkins, and they've got this offense. I am just going to love.
Christian Kirk. They've
got so
a lot
many
of weapons
in this spread style new NFL offense that Kingsbury is going to run. This also allows them, why I love this, is that 8th overall pick, they're probably going to get either the 2nd or 3rd best offensive lineman off the board to protect his blind side.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
To me, it's either going to be Tristan Wirfs or Mekhi Becton, in my personal opinion. There, they could go Jedrick Wills, but they're going to take a high ceiling left tackle And if they get Becton, I know that people are going to talk, oh, you got a 6'7" with a 5'11". Murray isn't a stand in your pocket quarterback, and that dude is so smooth in the pocket. It's unreal.
I mean, he's a baseball player. He knows how to change arm angles. We
saw that last year.
He played at fucking Oklahoma. Like, they have one of the biggest offensive line in college football.
He was putting the ball last year in some of the tightest windows I've ever seen. It was ridiculous.
His whole
for a
life,
rookie.
he's played with big ass linemen in front of him. You think it's going to be not you, but people that would say that it's not going to just become a problem now.
Right? No, I get it, but I just love everything that Arizona has done this offseason.
I agree.
It's not been much. It's been through the trades and then the free agent signings they didn't overpay.
Right.
1 to 3 year deals.
That's a big part of it.
That's huge. That allows them to keep building, get younger, and they're going to keep getting better. Number 2, for me, for the biggest winners, I hate doing this every year because I just talked about this earlier. I put the Browns there. A lot of people had them there last year.
I don't hate what the Browns did.
I don't hate it. I love Conklin. I love that it's only a 3-year deal, allows them to get out and get more money later. But you've got your starting right tackle now. You can go get your franchise left with that 9th overall pick or 10th.
Yeah, they're
10th overall. I know you don't. I love the Austin Hooper signing.
I just don't like
Stefanski loves his double tight end sets. Yeah. Like, I know we talked about it. But then I think it's going to be underrated. One of the best free agent signings in all of the NFL is they brought in fullback Andy Jonovich.
He's a good fullback.
Hell of a fullback that creates running lanes.
Is he from the 49ers?
Yes, that you wouldn't believe. And now you've got Kareem Hunt, who signed his tender, and you've got
Nick Chubb.
You've got a 1-2 punch that's both are all pro level running backs. This is a make or break year for me. For Baker, he's got to improve. He's got to get back to that, 10 games played, 11 games played, 27 touchdowns his rookie year.
Listen, if he's not in the top 10 of quarterbacks in this league this year with the weapons that are around him, they might have to look in another
That's
direction.
why I love they brought in Case Keenum.
Right.
He's a great backup that can mentor him.
Yeah.
He's going to learn from him if he's willing. And then on defense, they brought in Carl Joseph, which I like. 1-year deal. Let him do it. Adrian Claiborne, they brought in another locker room guy on a 2-year deal. I know he's on the downside of his career.
Hey man, he can
big
rotate
dude that can still rotate in and get after the quarterback.
You gotta
so
have
they've got a couple locker room guys in there with them. I know Kareem Hunt's a head case, but like I said, you've got Adrian Claiborne, you've got Keenum to come in there. Conklin, from everything I've heard, is loved in the locker room too. I loved everything they did there too.
Yeah, I don't hate what the Browns did. I went a different route with my number 2. I picked the Cowboys actually.
Oh my god.
I'll start out with what I disliked.
It better be Cooper.
I disliked they overpaid for Amari Cooper, and I dislike that they have not signed Dak to a long-term deal at this point. But I like the Gerald McCoy signing.
I do too.
I like Clinton Dix. I know he hasn't set the world on fire the last few years, but he was a Pro Bowler. I'm pretty sure his rookie year. He was a Pro Bowler.
Wasn't he a Pro Bowler 2 years ago with the Bears too, or 2 or 3 years ago?
No, he only played with the Bears 1 year.
Was it 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he can get in a good system and can, I don't know. I think he'll be all right in Dallas. And then they signed Legatron, Greg Zerloin. I love that pickup. He was injured last year for the Rams, so
he missed 9 kicks.
Yeah, but
didn't they sign another D tackle? They signed Gerald McCoy. I thought they signed another former first-round D tackle.
I think they signed somebody else. I didn't have that one down, but they also today it just came, or it was last night actually. They signed former All-Pro Alden Smith, former 49er. He's
broke Reggie White's record, most sacks in the first 2 years of your career, and fastest player to 30
sacks ever. His first year he had 14 sacks. His second year he had 19 and a half.
Yeah.
So, he's
got some major troubles with substance abuse.
Right.
Staying clean.
And many legal issues.
Yeah.
So
he's had every chance in the world.
He says Jay Glazer says he's been working with him. His
sports complex.
Yeah, whatever he does. But Alden Smith allegedly has been clean for 9 months.
I love that.
Hey, more power to him. He's 31, so
I mean,
they signed him 1 year, and the most money he can make is if he gets a bunch of sacks is $2 million. So great deal for the Cowboys.
It's similar to what Jerry Jones did when he brought in Greg Hardy from Carolina.
Right.
Hardy went off, but his off the field issues didn't stop.
And with the new CBA, Randy Gregory's coming back, and the last time he was there, he didn't look terrible.
No, he's a good rotation player, and that's what Alden Smith's going to be at 31.
So you're rotating Alden Smith and Randy Gregory in the same fucking spot, and then you got
that's a lot of weed for one position,
right? I mean, you always need a lot of weed, and then you got DeMarcus Lawrence on the other end. So with him, Gerald McCoy, and whoever else you want to throw in there in that middle, that's not going to be a bad little pass rush. Plus, you got Vander Esch and Jalen Smith behind him, so that's not a bad front seven to go with forward.
No, I don't mind that at all. I mean, it'll make up for some of the lack of Byron Jones leaving. You'll have to deal with that at some point. They'll probably look at corner or still safety at that 18th overall pick.
Yeah, I think they should go corner personally, but safety if they can get McKinney.
I mean, if CJ Henderson's there, that's a no-brainer. But
I don't think he will be.
All right, well, who'd you go with for your last disappointment?
My last one, or no, this is Winners.
Winners. My Winners. Bad. See, I got to talk, man. See, I didn't. Okay.
I went with the Colts. My number 3. Even though I didn't like the Phillip Rivers signing, I think everybody has heard enough of me bitching about that. But I like the Buckner trade. That's a hell of a move, getting all-pro for a 13th overall pick. I don't think anybody that's a real football fan can argue that move. Then I like the Xavier Rhodes signing. And I also like bringing in Sheldon Day, another prove-it deal. I mean, just more depth for that defensive line.
I wouldn't say Sheldon Day's a prove-it deal, but that's a good quality rotational player. And
he's not getting much more money than he got anywhere. But I don't think they're done either. That's the main reason I have them at 3. There's still a couple more guys out there that might, once free agency we get closer to the draft and they figure out nobody's fucking paying them, Jadeveon Clowney. We'll see what happens with him.
With Clowney, though, it was reported today that he
still wants 20 fucking million.
It was reported it's been reported that he's okay with 17. So the Titans and Jets are back in the talks with him. That would make him still the highest paid outside linebacker in a 3-4 system. So I still think Seattle's in play there. And that would be my gut is where Clowney goes.
No, I hate him. But I'm just saying and then you still got Everson Griffin out there, or Griffith. Or no, it's Griffin. He could come back, or he could go, but he's still
I would look for them to look at help on corner still. I know they got Rhodes, but you also got to look at maybe a utility lineman. There's one out there. I haven't looked at the list that plug and play because you did lose Joe Haig to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Receiver, but there's not really any. I mean, on the market, Geronimo Allison might be the biggest name still there.
They've been talking about possibly trade, or not the Colts, but there's been reports they might trade for fucking Alshon Jeffries, but I don't like that. He's injury prone to shit. And
he's getting older, so what are you giving for that? If it's a 4th or 5th rounder, I'm okay with it, though.
Right. Who'd you go with number 3, though?
Probably something that most people aren't talking about. I know that this team is set on their rookie quarterback that's still up in the air, but I went with the Broncos. They're going to ride with Locke for now. I love the Graham Glasgow up the offensive line there. He's a great center or guard. I think they're going to slot him in at guard there.
Yeah.
You brought in Melvin Gordon. Right. Love that with Phillip Lindsay.
Yeah, great.
Phillip Lindsay struggles inside the 10 to 5 yard line. Royce Freeman would always get those carries because Lindsay just can't power his way in. Yeah. Gordon's a touchdown machine when he's in the red zone. You sign AJ Boye, or you trade for him. I know you let Chris Harris walk, but Boye is a little younger. He's not as good, but that's still a great way to go. You brought back Justin Simmons, or you franchised him. Great all-pro safety. And then you trade a 5th round pick, 7th round pick for Jarrell Casey, an all-pro D tackle.
Right.
I know Derek Wolfe left. He's with the Ravens now.
One of the craziest fucking moves I've ever seen.
He got beefed up. I had them originally taking a corner in both my mock drafts. I don't see that anymore. This allows them to go receiver, go get some help for your young quarterback.
Right.
I love this. You're betting on that. Finally, John Elway's not spending a bunch of free agency money on a quarterback. Right. He's going to wait and see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, all their eggs are in the Drew Lock basket, so we'll see what happens. I don't hate anything that the Broncos done other than they couldn't convince Chris Harris to stay, and he ended up going to your division rival.
Yeah, I mean,
you also stole
their defense,
stole Melvin Gordon from him. So.
Yeah, I mean that division, the AFC West, is going to be extremely competitive next year.
Right. I mean, the Chiefs are still going to win it.
But I mean, the Chargers beefed up their defense. The Raiders aren't far away.
The Chargers' defense is fucking good, man. Derwin James wasn't out last year. That defense was heavy hitters.
Yeah, you're going to have that. And then I think the Broncos took the next step forward, too. They could be a possible 8-8 and 9-7 team.
For sure.
They could be that 7th team.
Well, I mean, hell, they only lost a couple, I think it was their first 5 games that they lost were less than 3 points or something like that. I mean,
now they've got
within 7.
Yeah,
I know that.
Flacco's out now, so you've got a better, more athletic quarterback that's younger. That's taking away nothing from what Flacco's done in his career.
Right. No.
He's done.
Yeah,
we know that.
Fuck him.
I love that. I don't mind yours. Outside of the Cowboys, man, I really
I just like what they did on the defensive side of the ball, man.
I'm glad you do. Someone's got to. I mean, there's always ridiculous Cowboys fans out there that...
I'm not a Cowboys fan. I fucking hate the Cowboys, but
I don't hate the Cowboys.
I do. I just hate how they're overhyped.
I mean, you could have put in also for free agents, you could have put in, I love the Mike McCartney signing. I love him as the head coach down there.
Yeah, he's
That's going to get better, in my opinion.
The reason I hate the Cowboys is they're overhyped every year, and their fans are unrealistic about it.
I mean, it's America's team, baby.
Right.
I mean, I can't really complain. I'm a freaking Notre Dame fan.
Right.
So you hear that every year. They start off 6 or 7.
You want to talk about unrealistic expectations. We'll talk about Notre Dame another day.
I mean, 11 national titles, that speaks for itself.
Right.
Let's get to the commercial break. And when we come back, we had a question of the week this week. Well, sort of. We kind of switched it up, though. See you after the commercial break.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let us explain.
It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms.
You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Now download the free Anchor app and go to anchor.fm to get started.
And make sure you listen to the Heavyweights Podcast. And thank you again to our sponsor, Anchor, there. All right, this week on our question of the weeks, we are changing it up a little bit. We didn't really have a question because there's not a whole lot going on in football. So what we went with is, what is your favorite playoff game you ever watched personally? And we had a few fans chime in. So the first one was 2015 Seahawks versus Packers NFC Championship game. It was a great game. Seahawks hit a fake field goal late in that game for a touchdown. Then they hit that onside kick, too, to come back. They came back big. It ended up being like 22-28, I think.
That was the final score.
And they hit Jermaine Kearse in overtime. Russell Wilson did win it.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's like coming of age party. You know, he'd been carried by the Legion of Boom, that defense, and it was like, okay, he can win.
And that's when
it was on the road too. Am I right about that? Was it at Lambeau?
No, it was at Seattle.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. All I remembered when you brought that up was the fact that Aaron Rodgers, to me, played like dog shit.
Yeah.
I looked it up. He had like 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He just did not look like himself.
See, the game before that, your cousin, Cody, me, my buddy Joe McMasters, and John Sickles, we all went to the playoff game.
Was that the Dez Bryant game?
Yeah, when Dez dropped the ball. We were all there at Lambeau Field. So that was cool. But I was kind of rooting for the Pack that year.
No matter what, I wasn't rooting for any team in that. I could still never root for the Packers.
I don't like Pete Carroll personally, but
I get that. I don't really like him either after he coached USC for all those years. And I could never beat him.
Obviously you don't like him, but hell of a game. And then
that's a great option. I like that.
What was the second one?
The second one was the 2003 NFC divisional round. The Packers and Falcons. You got a young Mike Vick, his first playoff appearance, I believe.
Yeah, his second year in the league.
Headed to take on one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Brett Favre, at Lambeau.
In his prime.
There's snow on the ground. I'm pretty sure.
Bit, yeah, it was snow.
Not much.
Not like ultimate Lambeau Field snow, but like it was
still, and it was cold. And at that point, the Green Bay Packers had never lost a home playoff game.
Yes, sir.
People said Vic couldn't do this in the cold weather. He's a dome quarterback.
Every dumbass thing you could say, and my
TJ Duckett?
TJ Duckett and Warwick Dunn were the running backs.
Yeah, and they just, steamrolled Green Bay from what I remember.
Yeah, they fucked them up. Green Bay made a little bit of a run, but it was never close.
Yeah, that was the Mike Vick show, and that was kind of his also coming of age party.
Right.
until 2007.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game, great game. And then number 3, we had the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl, the first one back in 2007 when David Tyree made that after Brady, and the Patriots were 18-1 or 18-0 at that point.
Yep.
And Brady had just went down there and hit Randy Moss in the end zone for a touchdown, took the lead 14-10, I believe, at that point in time. Then Eli Manning, I don't remember what down it was, but he's fighting for his life. They fucking about have him sacked, and he throws up that prayer, and David Tyree
catches it over Rodney Harrison.
Makes one of the craziest catches you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, if you'll notice, NBC every year when we get into the playoffs, Harrison gets real quiet when they show that every year.
Hey, man, he was a great player, but that
Hall
was
of Famer.
That was a hell of a play that David Tyree made. I still don't know how he called it.
Couple things for me for this is, of course, this made it because most of our fans listen here out of Indiana.
Right.
Most of them are Colts fans. Automatic hatred for the dynasty that is the New England Patriots. You had one of the greatest upsets in Super Bowl history, a wild card team coming in late in the season, almost beat them in week 16.
Yeah.
17, sorry.
Yeah.
You're correct. Brandon Jacobs, just a beast of a 6'4" running back.
Right.
I believe Ahmad Bradshaw was
they
there.
had Bradshaw, and then they had that other, I don't remember the other.
Plex.
They had 3-headed monster at that point,
Yeah,
too.
Plexico
Burris.
catches the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
And shoots himself? Or was that before that?
That was afterwards.
Yeah, that was
I
afterwards.
think he was on the Jets when he shot himself, too.
Was he? Okay.
It doesn't matter, really.
But my biggest other takeaway from this is we were so robbed probably from one of the greatest potential playoff matches of all time that year when Phillip Rivers comes into Indy the week before the AFC Championship game and knock off the Colts at Lucas Oil. It was the RCA Dome. That would have been, the Colts had a chance to beat them, I think, in week 9.
They lost.
Well, I remember the first play of the game, Robert Mathis just smoked Brady. Fumble, we get the ball. Just another great Manning Brady moments. I know everybody in the playoffs were looking for that, because if that would have been the case, I think the Colts beat the Giants. But because the Giants, again, in 2012 had the perfect...
Peyton never lost to Eli.
No, he did not.
I don't think so.
But the Giants, that defense, that Spagnuolo, get after you. They had Strahan. They had Justin Tuck.
OCU Manura.
They had guys to get after it. And Brady, at that stage of his career, got rattled real quick. I know he he broke Manning's record that year. Was that the year he broke?
Yeah, he threw 50.
Yeah, because he had Welker and he had Moss and the guy that Stallworth.
Dante Stallworth.
Killed the guy.
Yeah. And Gronk.
No, he didn't have Gronk yet.
No, he didn't have Gronk. That was the next Super Bowl.
Correct. Yeah, so, they still had a really good defense. Again, Ty Law was still there. Rodney Harrison was there. I want to say...
No, they didn't have Ty Law. They had Asante Samuel.
Sorry. Yeah. Ty Law was the first two because you still had the big dude up front. Oh, man.
Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, that big...
Beast motherfucker. You still had Teddy Bruschi.
You sure Bruschi was still there?
Yeah, he was. I know for a fact because this Super Bowl was Junior Seau. They were trying to get him one, and he lost.
Didn't they try? Was it Zach? No, Zach Taylor went too.
Zach Thomas was on.
Yeah,
he
Zach
was on
Thomas.
the Patriots for a year, but no, I don't think he was this year.
Okay.
The Patriots were at the peak of their powers. Probably one of the best teams ever, and they just didn't get it done.
That's why I think when they lost to, you heard the 72 Dolphins just crack open that champagne and just breathe a sigh of relief. Because now I think going with the 17-game season after next
probably
year,
live forever.
I don't think that'll ever get beaten again. You got too many injuries to worry about and everything else. I know teams will battle longer because only one team in each conference gets a bye. But yeah, I'm all for those three.
What was the last one?
That was the last one. No, it was not. Okay, this one surprised me. We had so many other great playoff matchups throughout the years. We're probably going back to, for everybody that listens in, most people were talking.
This was just the people's favorite games, though. You just got to think of that.
But I think this one it's so fresh in their memory, and I didn't mind it. But there's been better Super Bowls, and it was the Super Bowl this year.
Well, this one was from an actual Chiefs fan, so it makes sense.
So that
it's
does
their
make sense.
Game.
Okay, no, I get that. It'll make sense once we get to ours, especially for me.
Right.
Great game. Great comeback with Mahomes. You got another collapse of Shanahan coaching in the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's going to haunt him.
Right. It was a great Super Bowl, man.
No, it was. I mean, it was full of excitement. I'll tell you this much: it beat the shit out of the previous one with the Rams and Patriots. That was boring. The only thing I'm a little not concerned, I guess, is games like the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah.
The 99 Bills coached by...
you're talking about the Music City Miracle?
For Minneapolis Miracle, but then also I was getting to when the Bills and Titans game in 99.
Right, yeah, it was 99.
Yeah.
It was when the Titans made their Super Bowl.
Yeah, Wade Phillips was coaching the Bills.
Right.
Yeah, they made their Super Bowl where on the Y check passes back.
Yeah, Kevin Dyson.
Was it Dyson?
Yeah, it was Dyson.
You should. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Dyson almost scored in the Super Bowl, too, at the half-yard line.
Yeah, it was Dyson.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm okay with that list. I'm glad a lot of people participated this week. So let's start off with ours. We kept out, a lot of you out there put in the Colts playoffs and everything. What's wrong?
I was just saying start at your least favorite to...
Least favorite? That's fine. But what I was getting to is we left out all the Colts. We were flooded with Colts playoff games.
Well, yeah, on the fan one, but
we left that out just because we're going to talk about it. I think we hit between our five.
Both of us probably have Colts in our favorites.
I know I do, and I'm sure Urban does.
Do, for sure.
So we'll start off with Urban's fifth. What's your...
Number 5 was a game I was actually at in 2013, Colts versus Chiefs.
Oh, that was awesome.
The Colts were down 38-10, and they ended up coming back to win this one 45-44. The biggest play of the game to me was when Donald Brown fumbled the ball and Andrew Luck picked it up and dove like motherfucking Superman
the birth of the Superman means with that.
And then the end of it when he hit T.Y. Hilton with that 64-yard dagger, and it was just, I thought that was the beginning of the best years the Colts were going to have, and it didn't turn out that way. But
I mean, yeah, man, that was a great game. Second biggest comeback in playoff history behind Reich leading the Bills back to beat the Oilers back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just mind-blowing. You know, you get there the year before, we get the shit kicked in out of us by Baltimore. We're back in the playoffs. You know, we got a home playoff game. We're playing Alex Smith and the Chiefs, who at the time...
We're a good team.
Yeah, and Reed was slowly building a great team. You know, he's always been great with player personnel. I mean, that team still had Jamal Charles, Dwayne Bowe. I mean, they were stacked on both sides.
Both caught a touchdown.
Yeah, Justin Houston lights up. I watched the game the other day because you can watch this on YouTube for anybody out there right now with this coronavirus. You can type in almost any game you want, race, any sport, and you can watch it. I think it was the first quarter, and you just see Justin Houston smoke Luck. And I'm like, oh, that's why you're retired, buddy.
Right.
Oh, man, we could not. And I'm looking at that defense. LaRon Landry is starting. Just the sheer pathetic moves that Ryan Grigson was going to be known to make over the next couple of years, even though we were so excited because the next week we go into Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we lose that one.
No, that was the year before.
Was it the year before?
Yeah, we beat Denver.
That year? So we went to the AFC Championship game that year?
The year before.
The year before we lost to Baltimore.
No, because in 2015 was the year we beat Peyton at Peyton's.
Yeah. So we went into...
Oh, this is 2013. This is 2 years.
Yeah, so we went into Denver and lost.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at something.
The next year we beat Denver.
I was thinking about 2016 for some reason.
Right? I'm right on that, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad.
Because then in the next year when we open up the season, we get the shit kicked out of us again by Peyton Manning. Then by the end of the year, he did not look right in the playoffs. That was the end of slowly downfall of his career. I'm all for that. I went a little different. I'm a Colts fan at heart. My number 5... It's Peyton Manning. It's that 2016 AFC Championship game. You know, Manning's hurt at the end of the year. Osweiler comes in and starts. But the AFC Championship game, it's just the last Brady-Peyton matchup.
It was an honorable mention one for me.
I mean, man, that game was just great. I know that defense just took Denver there.
Yeah.
But Manning did enough. Leads him on a late game winning drive. And then you think at the end, Gronk has a chance to win that game with Brady. You think it's going to happen?
Well, no, it would have been tied.
It would have been tied. Yeah, okay. It just, from start to finish, on my toes. I'm feeling like a Colts fan again.
Right.
Back just watching Manning just be himself.
I can't
beating our nemesis in Tom Brady.
Those 3 or 4 years he was in Denver, I can't lie. Every time we played them, I was torn. Like,
oh no, if we played Denver, no, I wanted Peyton to lose. I wanted to have a good game. Other than that, I was a Peyton Manning fan.
I can't even lie. I like deep down wanted Peyton Manning to fuck us up every time. I wanted him to just murder us and say, "Hey, Jim Irsay, have another drink, bitch."
I mean, I was all for, that whole, like, he's your favorite player, like when you play fantasy football. You can throw 5 touchdowns, but as long as the Colts still win, I'm happy.
He was just still my dude. You know what I mean? I couldn't get over a little fangirl shit.
All right, go with your fourth, man.
All right, the fourth one, I went with the Colts-Patriots AFC title game in, it was 06.
Yeah. That's your fourth?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just for me. It ended up being 38-34. Asante Samuel had that pick 6 to make it 21-3 with New England in the lead. Also in that game, 3 offensive linemen scored a touchdown with Logan Mankins, Jeff Saturday, and Klecko.
Dan Klecko.
Joseph Adai ran in the game-winning touchdown, ended up putting us ahead, and then Marlon Jackson's interception to just cap that off. And hearing that radio,
Bob Lamey saying, "Marlon's got it. Marlon's got it. We're going to the Super Bowl."
That sends chills.
I just got cold chills.
Yeah.
If you were a Colts fan, that was one of the great. I was working in high school. It was my senior year, and me and my buddy Hobart were taking a break. We go back out. We're coming back. We're like screw dishes. Screw the restaurants open. No one gives a shit because the whole restaurant was the same way.
Right.
And I don't care. I'm a big dude. Me and him just embraced, start jumping up and down and screaming.
Right.
It was such a big deal that I remember the next Sunday when we played the Bears, Arnie's shut down. Yeah. We closed at 5 o'clock just so everybody could watch the game. And then when they won, our high school, if you remember correct, we were on a 2-hour delay the next day just because the Colts won the Super Bowl so everybody could celebrate and then sleep in a little bit.
I didn't even go to fucking school.
I did because I went to the parade that night too.
I was partying.
But you only have that as your fourth. That is my moment. That is when we beat our nemesis. We get over that hurdle. We were so close so many times. That 05 team to me was way better. We get dicked over Vanderjack and
I was just saying my best playoff games I watched. You'll see
that for me. Nothing will ever beat that for me. I guess the only way is another Colts Super Bowl that's like that. But we got to have that. The rivalry, everything that built up for years and years. Peyton could never win the big one. I mean, everything we couldn't figure out the blitz. We couldn't figure out Belichick. Belichick had his name. Because if you remember week 10 that year, we went in on a Thursday night game and Marvin had that stupid touchdown grab in the back. And we went in there and beat the shit out of him. I'm like, okay, we can do this. The offense can get over the hump.
Then we just came out looking like shit to start the game.
And I was like,
pick 6.
And everybody was like, here we go again. Because another thing, too, is when Adai scores that touchdown and shit, Brady's got a minute. He can do something. Peyton goes to the sideline. Throws the Gatorade towel over his head, won't even look up,
and then praying.
And then you could just tell he's like, "Oh, please God!" And your players are turning around, and it was just, I mean, Marvin was always quiet, and he's just not even looking. Reggie, I think his back was completely turned from the field because they had been there before so many times, so many heartbreaks in the playoffs, and they still had more to come. My number 4, though, because I could talk about that forever. I love that game. I am obsessed, always will be. My number 4 isn't anything with the Colts. Super Bowl 43 in 2009, Steelers-Cardinals. I mean, you had Joey Porter 99-yard interception
in the half. That's my number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're covering our number 1s.
I mean, this is absolutely insane. It's back and forth. Larry Fitzgerald, Santonio Holmes, I think, was the MVP of that game.
Should have been.
That throw by Roethlisberger and the catch. But I mean, you just
in triple coverage.
I think this game enshrined Kurt Warner into the Hall of Fame. He brought them back. You had Anquan Bolden and Fitzgerald. I mean, I wanted the Cardinals to win so bad. No one ever talked about it. They'd never been to a Super Bowl. The Steelers had been there. I could care less.
I was a big Larry Fitzgerald fan. Yeah. I still am, but I wanted him to get one.
Man, that game was just, start to finish, was just absolutely insane. He had Troy Polamalu. I mean, you go back now, I guess you can look on it. Fitzgerald's going to the Hall of Fame. Warner's in. You've got...
Probably James Harrison's in.
Polamalu's in. James Harrison,
he'll be a fringe.
Joey Porter would have been, but he tailed off real quick.
Mike Taylor, he's a fringe. He won't be in.
No, he's not getting in, man. Was Edgerrin?
Edgerrin was on the team.
Edgerrin's in, baby. It would have been great to see Edgerrin.
Anquan Bolden was on that team.
Fringe.
He's fringe.
Don't think he gets in.
But I'm just saying he was on the team just naming great players.
He was very underrated after he left.
Darnell Dockett, he was a great player. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame.
No, I mean, but just...
it was loaded with great players everywhere on the field.
And just for anybody that's
Hines Ward.
Yeah. Well, and then Santonio Holmes. I think Randall L was gone by then.
I believe so.
Okay. A great IU quarterback.
Right.
And he was... Yeah. But... Just if anybody's out there, I know there's no sports on, so for me, I don't mind getting on YouTube, especially when I'm at work. I'll throw on an old game.
Right.
Like I got bored the other day.
I actually rewatched this game before preparing for this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I watched the AFC Championship game, but I also ended up watching the 2014 Brickyard 400. It was the last time Gordon won there.
Right.
It was 5-time champion.
Do what you do, make it work.
But I implore you to go back and watch. This is one of the better Super Bowls we've had in the last 20 to 25 years.
Yeah. And then at number 3, I went with the Broncos-Packers Super Bowl. I think it was 97.
Yeah. Elway and Favre.
Yeah. It just, at the time, the year before, Favre and the Packers trounced the Patriots. They just beat the shit out of them.
Which was surprising by a Bill Parcells team.
Right. I mean, it was just... the opening kickoff, I'm pretty sure, got ran back. Or no, it wasn't the opening kickoff, he hit...
It wasn't the opening
He hit
kickoff.
Andre Rison on a deep fucking pass to start the game. And then later...
Desmond Howard
ended up hitting him for a kickoff return later. Yeah, he was the Super Bowl MVP, actually.
Yeah.
But the next year, Brett Favre, he's a 3-time MVP. At that point in time, he's at the height of his powers. And you got him going against Denver Broncos, John Elway,
and he finally
never won the Super Bowl.
He had gotten there, but he got in his butt kicked a few times.
Yeah, I'm just saying he never won the Super Bowl, but he finally has probably the best team he's ever played on. He's got Terrell Davis in the backfield. I don't know if that was the year he ran for 2,000 yards. It was either
next
that year or
next year when they started off 15-0.
He still had the best running back in the game at that point, possibly.
Yeah, injuries cut his career so short.
Right.
That 3-year period he was unstoppable.
I mean, the Broncos scored twice off of Green Bay turnovers. Brett Favre threw one pick in the game, which...
that's Brett Favre.
He's going to throw a pick.
Baby.
Terrell Davis had 3 touchdowns. He scored the game winner. But the biggest play enshrined in anyone's head.
Everybody remembers.
He's going for the first down. It's like 3rd and 8. And they called a play... And earlier in the week, they show practice film of it, of him and Mike Shanahan talking about it. And he's saying, Elway's telling him, well, what do I do if because Shanahan was saying, run this play, and they're going to run this coverage. He goes, well, what the fuck do I do if they don't run this coverage? And he's like, no, they always run this coverage to this lineup. Well, in the game, they didn't run that coverage. Right. And so John Elway said, fuck it, nobody's open. He ran his old, slow, 37-year-old ass, but he wanted it. And this made me respect John Elway out of anything I ever seen. Dude could have slid, and they'd have been fine. They'd have been set up at like the 7th.
Yeah, Terrell would have probably got it.
Yeah. And he goes up over the top, gets drilled, helicopters, first down at the 5 or 6 or something.
Everybody, because that's that freeze moment frame shot that everybody has seen.
It's not the play of the game, but to me, it's the most memorable play of the game.
By far, it's probably the biggest picture taken of that besides Elway holding up the Lombardi Trophy.
Right.
My biggest thing on that play you're talking about is Shanahan. I want to say it was like it was a crossing route and an out route, and they were asking if they were going to cover 3 with a spy, and I just remember that. I remember that watching that too. It was on like NFL Yearly Review when Steve Sabol, the NFL Films.
Yeah, NFL Films.
Yeah, and Sabol was talking about it, and just Elway's like, no, but what if they do this? Just trying to do everything he can to prepare for this game, kind of like what Peyton Manning would do. He wants to know every simple possibility just so he could be mentally prepared. And yeah, I loved that game. That was one of... I think it was in 4th grade. I can't remember exactly.
I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my first one I ever remember that I was allowed to stay up and watch was the 49ers just putting an ass whooping on the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch that one.
Yeah, Jerry Rice going up. I was in love with that team because that was like the first team I really like. The Colts weren't great yet, but no, that's a great pick. I mean, I loved Elway. I hated the next year that they played the Falcons. It should have been the Minnesota Vikings. Those were by far the 2 best teams in the league.
Fucking Morton Anderson missed that kick.
I know, man.
Blew it.
And then you got Chris Anderson walking in with the Dirty Bird Falcons, and they just Chris Chandler at the quarterback. Yeah, it was just bad. My third one, again, going away from the Colts, 2010. Seattle comes into the defending Super Bowl champion, or they got a home game against
8-7-1.
Yeah, they got to play the Saints. You know, you got Breeze at the height. They're coming off their first Super Bowl win. Everybody, and I mean every member of the media, everybody wrote out the Saints. Then beast mode happened, and one of the greatest runs in playoff history.
I remember watching it.
Just watching him make 20, it seemed like 20, 25 guys try to tackle him at once, and he just would not go down. It was so loud out there in Seattle that it registered
on the decimal
letter to be an earthquake, and then you have born beast mode and beastquake.
Yeah.
Iconic play. I had to put that up there. I've watched that play so many times.
One of the best plays in playoff history.
By far.
It's in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Seattle goes on to lose the next week, but...
I mean, they shouldn't even have been in the playoffs, but the fact that they were in it and he made that memory, it was just crazy.
Yeah, because they had beaten in week 17.
They beat the Rams, who were, if they would have won, would have been 7-9 to get in.
And Sam Bradford's rookie year.
Yeah. And crazy.
Because Jim Martz was still coaching out there and Steven Jackson.
Right, that was Pete Carroll's first year. At Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hell of a game, though. I really liked that.
Yeah, because everybody questions, like, why are you trading for Marshawn Lynch from Buffalo? That's why. And then we obviously know. I mean, think about that. That was 10 years ago, and this dude just suited up this year.
He went to the Pro Bowl while he was at Buffalo.
And
then they had Fred Jackson. And then on top of it, they drafted C.J. Spiller from Clemson when they still had Marshawn Lynch. That's why they traded him. Was it Fred Jackson that was from College? Fred Jackson had that great year, and they had that 1-2 punch with him and Marshawn that year, and they both ran for 1,000 yards. Yeah. And then they traded Marshawn
in the playoffs.
They traded Marshawn because he was the most valuable of a trade. And then
they had to. Do you remember the quarterback then?
Was it fucking J.P. Losman?
J.P. Lossman.
Lossman? Yeah, he sucked ass. I don't know why I remember that, but...
J.P. Lossman. They could never get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. Bring up your number 2.
All right. Number 2, a lot of Colts fans are going to hate me for this one, but I went with Patriots-Seahawks Super Bowl. Just the dynamics of this game. It was... New England scored a touchdown with 32 seconds to make it 14-7.
So it's so recent. Everybody's going to know this.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, made it 14-7 with, I think it was 32 seconds left in the half, and Russell Wilson drives them down there after a penalty, too, gets a touchdown, makes it 14-all, and then Bobby Wagner has an INT. After Seattle opened up the half with a field goal, Bobby Wagner picks off Tom Brady for Tom Brady's second pick of the game, which you don't get Tom Brady throwing 2 picks in a playoff game very often, let alone the Super Bowl. They have the GOAT on the ropes, and I was so fucking happy, dude. I was ecstatic. And Russell Wilson ended up hitting, I forget who he even threw it to, but he made it 24-14. And then...
Might have been Javon Curse.
Then Tom Brady put on one of his best performances. Legion of Boom was banged up, I'll give him that, but he went out there and got it done. So he makes it 21-24. He goes down there and hits Amendola for a touchdown. Then it was a 3-and-out by Seattle. He goes down there again, makes it 28-24. He found Edelman. And then Wilson got the ball back. Seattle got the ball back. They got down to the 5 or
1. Well,
they got down to 5 first with after Jermaine Kearse made that crazy ass catch over those 2 dudes. The ball bounces all crazy. Then Beast Mode ran it and brought it down to 1, and it made it 2nd and goal.
Yeah, I thought it was over.
And then literally the worst call in NFL history. I don't think anybody will ever be able to.
I don't know about that. Super Bowl history, playoff history, I'm all for it. But you can't compare that to that 4th down Pat McAfee fake punt.
Oh, no. Super
Bowl history, yes.
But, I mean, my thing is the gravity of the situation makes it worse than that for me.
Yeah.
The gravity of the situation.
All right, I'll go with that.
What's on the line, that just makes it worse to me. And
let's just say
the dude that's in the motherfucking backfield for you. The guy that's beast mode. We just talked about him. Number 3 for you.
Yeah.
Dude just had a historic run. And I get it. Pete Carroll wanted to make Russell Wilson fucking Super
I don't
Bowl
think that's
MVP.
it. I think he
I
honestly
played in it. No, he doesn't like
he honestly thought he could convince.
Pete Carroll's a fucking snake.
He wouldn't have brought him back this year if he hated him. I think Pete Carroll honestly thought
all three of his running backs went down.
Yeah, I think he honestly thought he could catch them off guard and do a quick slant.
Yeah, and Malcolm Butler made the play of his fucking life.
And made $40 million off that.
And good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. But, yeah, we all know what happened. Wilson, from the one, drops back to throw it, throws it straight to Malcolm fucking Butler because he jumped the route. And they fucking
just here
won.
so I don't get fined, man.
Yeah, and they won.
You had so many spin-offs. I remember the league opened the next year. If anybody doesn't know what the league is out there, it was a fantasy football TV show that was on FXX. They opened the season next year. They were on the beach with Marshawn Lynch, and he asked for a beer, and the guy's like, "I'll throw it." And he's like, "Just let me run it over there. I'm right here. Just let me run it over there."
That sucks, man.
And I love that for number 2. I mean, because I honestly thought about putting in that 28-3 comeback, but I just...
That was another one that I was like special mention or whatever.
Yeah, and that was so disappointing because that's another one. I was so pumped that first half. Ryan is just shredding them apart.
That was just terrible play calling.
And I think that's why I left it out. Shanahan just like, let's run the ball. Why you have...
This was one play, all right? This was one play. Now, be it biggest play maybe in NFL history, but he like systematically fucked up to lose that game.
Ryan should have also been audibling out of that.
Right, yeah.
Tom Brady would have never let that happen. Peyton Manning would have never let that happen.
They would have ran the fucking ball.
Yeah, he would have. They would have thrown the ball more. They ran a little too much and way too early. In the third quarter, they started trying to chew the clock.
No, but the thing was, they ran less in the second half than they did in the first half.
It was just something.
I swear to God.
That's fine, but that's not even my number.
Because he got that strip sack on that fucking... Yeah.
Well, let's go to my number 2, all right? All right. For me, 2006, we beat the 2006 season. Technically, this is in 2007. Colts finally get over the hump. We get to the Super Bowl. As Dwight Freeney has famously said, we got over the Patriots. It didn't matter who the fuck we were playing the next week. We were going to win.
But then
the
first fucking play.
Kickoff happened and Hester returned it. And I remember we're all getting pizza at my house. I have like 10, 11 friends over. And I look up and I almost drop my pizza. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like Dungy. Devin Hester just had one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. Is the greatest punt kick returner of all time.
I don't think anybody can question.
Put that ball in that dude's hands on a return and magic just happens. And you know what they did? They kicked straight to the motherfucker, took it to the house, and I was like, oh, shit.
He has the most non-offensive touchdowns in NFL history.
And then Peyton, they struggle a little bit, but then when they find the groove, he hits Reggie on that like 63-yard post route.
Yeah.
And it was just cruising. And I know it wasn't that close of a game. It was rainy, and there were some turnovers, sloppy play. Peyton probably shouldn't have gotten MVP.
No, it should have been a tie between Dominic Rhodes and Joseph Adai.
It should have been Rhodes. Rhodes was the reason.
Both of them ran well.
And Bob Sanders, too, because
he was our whole reason we were even there.
Coming back week 16 and getting healthy. But that's my number 2 just because of watching the Colts finally win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It was strong on there for me, but that's why I picked the AFC title game to be on there, but I was just going with...
Yeah, I can't leave off my Super Bowl.
Right. Right, I get it. So your one was...
My number 1 was the 2006 AFC Championship game, and I'm telling that's the epitome of being a Colts fan.
Right.
Marlon's got it. Marlon's got it. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I still love that on 1070 The Fan here in Indianapolis, they still play that. I know Laney got fired for some really racist comments.
Yeah, we don't support that.
Yeah, which is fine. But I just love that little segment right there.
I was at Jeff Garland's house. Me, him, Tyler Bray, and we came into their Super Bowl party. We were bopping in between our houses because we all lived close together. Mm-hmm. And we came back in for right when we scored. Joseph Dye scored, and then when that interception happened, and I literally watched his mom's boyfriend cry. Like, literally, he tried to, we're going to the Super Bowl. I was like, no, I mean, the Colts are going to the Super Bowl. We're not. But, yeah, the Colts are going. And I just always remember that dude crying. And for my number 1, I picked the Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl. It was just, it was the best, it was one of the best games I've ever seen. That's why I picked it.
All right, man. I mean, I'm all for that, but I know a lot of the Colts listeners out there will probably agree with me more.
That's fine. I went with best playoff games I've seen. I didn't really go like
I know, and it's hard, and I probably shouldn't put my fandom into it. But then again, that 2006 AFC Championship game, even for non-Colts and Patriots fans,
well, it's on my list.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be up there for a lot of people.
Folks, this was games that we've personally watched. It's not all time, so don't add us.
I mean, I've seen replays, yeah.
But we're
talking
was us watching it fucking
on,
live.
Yeah, 94 on when I remember watching football. We had one TV in my house at the time, and my mother hated watching sports, but I would still find a way to walk up to the TV.
We had a few, but my
dad
dad
have a remote control, and I'd switch the channel.
My dad was a pimp, dude. He'd let me watch any football game as late as I wanted.
And that's awesome. I was not that way, but
you ready to crack open that 6-pack?
Let's do it. I'm thirsty as hell.
This is the 6-pack of the week.
All right, with the first question, what quarterback has been sacked the most in NFL history?
David Carr.
Brett Favre.
Why the hell would that's one season shit. No, if I would have actually thought about that.
Yeah, it wasn't one season.
Well, not even just one season. I don't think he's got that record anymore. I should have just thought about longevity, and that makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Right. All right. Who was the 1995 Rookie of the Year?
So in the 95 class, 96 would have been Marvin Harrison's class with the expansion. 94 would have been Marshall Faulk's class, I believe. Shit, so 95. Pro Bowler at all?
Hall of Famer.
What position?
I can't.
Shit. So it's not going to be quarterback because I can't remember a single quarterback from 95. Man. And it's a Hall of Famer? All right, well.
Pretty sure.
Marshall Faulk, but it's wrong.
Curtis Martin.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
All right.
Damn, yeah.
All right. Number 3.
Patriots.
What player has the most interceptions returned for a touchdown in NFL history?
Rod Woodson.
Boom, baby. All right. Number 4. What player has the most forced fumbles in NFL history?
Most forced fumbles, not strip sacks, right?
Just forced fumbles.
Shit.
Just all forced fumbles.
All forced fumbles. Man, that's always been an official stat, unlike sacks. Man, I mean, Derek Johnson wouldn't be it. Bruce Smith would be my best guess, or Lawrence Taylor. Man.
Is that who you're going with? Or?
Yeah, I'll go with Bruce Smith.
You're going to be mad because you had it. It's
Robert Mathis. I thought his was strip sacks.
No, I mean, it's forced fumbles. Those are forced fumbles.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, technically, no. Yes and no.
Yeah, but look it up on the record.
No, I believe you. I get
when
you said that. I was like, strip sacks, that's Robert Mathis.
That's why I didn't say strip sacks, because I seen your eyes light up when I said it. All right. What player has the most tackles for loss in NFL history?
Man. That's a long pause. Tackles for loss. So you're looking at more than likely a D end or an outside line or a middle linebacker.
Yep.
Probably from the 70s or 80s when he ran the ball more and had to have had a longer career. It wouldn't be Mean Joe Green. I'm trying to think of 80s like dominant linebackers. It's wrong, but I'm going with Mike Singletary.
It's Terrell Suggs.
Is it?
T-Sizzle. 202.
See, I would have went with 70s or 80s when they ran the ball.
Right, I get it. But
I don't just pull up like all-time stats all the time. I know the bigger ones, passing yards, receiving.
Hey man, I got to come up with something.
No, I get it. The thought process in there for me is it's there. It's just not always going to be accurate.
Right, I get it. But who was the Rookie of the Year in 1997? That's the last one.
97, because 98 would have been Peyton.
No, it wouldn't have. 98's Randy Moss.
So 97 would have been Peyton then.
No, I mean Peyton and Randy Moss were in.
Did he get it? I thought Peyton.
Randy Moss was 98.
What he had, 14 touchdowns or 15 touchdowns that year? Moss did. All right, so 97. So
he had the most touchdown catches for a rookie.
The year before Peyton got.
I would have never got this, by the way.
Peyton got there. It's got to be a bust then. He probably had one good rookie year.
I'll let you know it's not a bust.
Hall of Fame? No,
he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's a multiple pro. Yeah, you know him.
Man. Okay, I mean, back then it was 9 times out of 10, I feel like it was always a freaking running back. So 97, so 96's draft class was loaded. 98's was iffy. 99, 97. So I'm trying to, man, this is too hard.
That's what it's all about.
I know. No, I get that, but trying to think of running backs that were drafted to, like, for some reason, but it would have been early 90s. Ricky Waters keeps coming into mind. Garrison Hurst, Corey Dillon wasn't drafted yet. Oh, man.
Shoot one out.
I can't from that draft class. I literally can't. Just tell me, because
it's work done.
Work done. Okay, Florida State.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't throw out. He's not a Hall of Famer, like 2 or 3 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, that's what
his better years were definitely with Tampa Bay, which is where he won.
And he had some good years though with the Mike Vick experience.
Yeah, but him and Allstott together down there in Tampa was.
Yeah, but him and TJ Duckett were a hell of a 1-2 punch.
Sean King is the quarterback with Dungy as the.
But him
coach.
and Michael Pittman and Allstott were a hell of a 3-headed monster too. I mean, they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, I guess I wouldn't have realized.
I don't know if Workdone was on the Super Bowl winning team.
No, he was not. He was
gone. He was already on the Falcons.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, because Michael Pittman was their running back.
Yeah, and Workdone had that Habitat for Humanity in Houston and built Deshaun Watson's mom's house.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy.
See, I can tell you all that stuff. I just couldn't. Usually draft classes I can pinpoint. If you go back probably 2001 and up, I'm a little more accurate, but I mean, I'll get lost on Wikipedia for some reason, just go over round after round.
Hey, man, I got to come up with something every week.
I don't blame you. It's just 97 is just one of those lost years.
Right. Dude, like I said, I would have never known that. I could have maybe guessed the Curtis Martin one, but at the same time, it's a mix-up to me.
What year he got Curtis Martin?
What year he got drafted would be a mix-up to me. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. All right, well, this episode ended up being a lot longer than we anticipated.
Hey, gives you something to listen to while you're locked in your house.
Next week, I think what we're going to go with is our first ever power rankings. They're not going to be too separate. We're going to both rank ours, and then we're going to do a point system, and we'll come out with our first post-free agent, pre-NFL draft power rankings.
Okay.
So we'll go over that. What we'd like from you for questions of the week this week, I'll have Dustin post it, and I'll post it on Twitter, and we'll keep going back and forth, is to give us your top 5 of who you think should be on the power rankings and
top 5 teams in the league.
Yeah, we're gonna do all 32, but top 5 teams in the league.
Yeah,
you cool with that?
Yeah, that's the question of the week, motherfuckers.
All right, don't forget to like us on Facebook and share our stuff constantly. We appreciate it.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter, and you can find us on any podcasting network. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there.